Welcome back to week 5. I have a solution for you for the River War robbery from last week's mini mystery. The dinner celebrating Churchill's birthday was on the night of the theft and would have been on or around November 30th. The weather a few days later, when Stanwyck and Ryan were chatting, was unusually mild for December, but still required the use of a jacket. For obvious climactic reasons, no tomato festival would be held in Wisconsin in December. Stanwyck therefore knew that Greco's alibi was a lie. This week's mystery is called Murder in the Gallery. The National Portrait Gallery was a favorite London haunt of Thomas P. Stanwyck, the amateur logician. But not today. Not with a bloody body at his feet and a Scotland Yard inspector by his side. Stanwyck was starting a long July vacation. While in London for a few days, he had called on his burly friend Inspector Bodwin at New Scotland Yard. Bodwin, about to leave to visit a crime scene, had invited Stanwyck along. Now they stood before the magnificent John Singer Sargent portrait of Ellen Terry as Lady Macbeth. Lying at the foot of the portrait was a middle-aged man in a flowery shirt and casual slacks. He lay on his back in a puddle of blood, his short salt and pepper beard reddened from a long gash at his throat. Though blood spotted the wall, the portrait itself had been spared. A police sergeant approached Bodwin. "This is Harry Rosenthal, 58, a Yank tourist," the sergeant reported. The lady standing over there, Laurel Rudd, befriended him on their tour and was visiting the gallery with him. "Did she find the body?" asked Bodwin. "No, one of the guards did. Miss Rudd said she had left Rosenthal near here to visit the Louvre. We have found no witnesses to the killing, but as you can see, this is a small side room and visitor traffic is light today." Bodwin strode over to Laurel Rudd, a dignified woman in her late 40s. "What can you tell me, Miss Rudd?" "Nothing, I'm sure, Inspector," she replied wanly. "I met Harry on the flight over, and we were spending the free day in London together. The tour moves on tomorrow to Bath." "Did Mr. Rosenthal mention any threats?" "No, none. He lived quietly as a lighting technician at a TV station in Kenosha, Wisconsin. He had retired from the Marines as a captain when he was 40. His wife died several years ago." "Where else have you two been today?" "Just some shopping on the Strand. We were meeting a school friend of his for lunch at the Trafalgar pub. Why, he's probably waiting there now." "Who is this friend?" "His name is Jim Pritchard, as I recall. He and Harry were in the high school drama club together. They hadn't seen each other since a high school reunion 20 years ago. Harry wanted to find a familiar face in London. This was before he met me. The high school alumni office found that Jim was living here. He's an architect and has been posted over here for some while." "So he was meeting Rosenthal in the Trafalgar," said Baldwin. "How would they recognize each other after all this time?" "Oh, Harry was wearing his SPEBSQSA cap. It's lying over there." SPEBSQSA? "The Society for the Preservation and Encouragement of Barbershop Quartet Singing in America," Stanwyck cut in. "An outfit headquartered in Kenosha." "I see." Bodwin stared at Stanwyck for a moment as if he were kidding, and then decided he was not. "And how was Rosenthal to recognize Pritchard?" "Jim was going to wear a Manchester United button on his collar." A few minutes later, Stanwyck and Bodwin were at the Trafalgar pub. They quickly found a casually dressed man in his late 50s sitting at a secluded table and wearing the button. "Yes, I'm Jim Pritchard," he said. "What can I do for you gentlemen?" "I'm Bodwin of the Yard, and this is Mr. Stanwyck," said Bodwin. "We've just come from the portrait gallery where a Harry Rosenthal was found dead, throat cut. His companion said he was meeting you here for lunch today." "Harry dead?" Pritchard half rose from his seat and then sat back down heavily. "Yes, I was expecting him here any time now. Haven't seen each other for 20 years, so he was to wear a special cap, and I'm wearing this button for him to spot." "How did you two arrange for this meeting, sir?" asked Stanwyck. "We exchanged telegrams. Old-fashioned, I know. The high school office gave him my London address, and he wanted to get together." "Throat cut. I suppose he still kept his beard trim. Too bad he didn't let it grow. Might have impeded the knife." "So you were old friends?" Bodwin asked. "Through high school, yes. Then we lost touch except for the 20th reunion, and now—" Poor Harry. Who was his companion? His wife? "No, a fellow tour member. Mr. Rosenthal was a widower." Poor Harry. Stanwyck took Bodwin aside. Odd, Gil, that he should pick a secluded table when he knows someone will be looking for him, he remarked. Bodwin shrugged. Perhaps the bar was already full. Perhaps. I would nonetheless suggest that you check his car trunk and the gallery men's room. Beg pardon? Sorry, the boot of his car and the gents' loo. For what? Bloody clothes, of course, and perhaps the knife, if he is overconfident, and hold him. On what grounds? Bodwin scoffed. His choice of table? Oh no, Stanwyck laughed. More than that, I assure you. So why did Stanwyck suspect Pritchard? I'll let you know next week.